Hello, everyone. Morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are. Thank you for joining this meeting today about our shadow and the size and shape of our container for clients and students. Um, if possible, please turn on your cameras. It's much nicer for me to see faces and I can get the group energy much better than when I just see blank or just the names. So if you could turn on your cameras, I would really appreciate it. Where should we begin? My name is Nir Esterman. I'm the founder of Shadow Constellations, which is a modality that combines shadow work, Jungian shadow work with family constellations, as developed by Bert Hellinger. I see some familiar faces here. Hello, if I know you from before. Hello, if I meet you now for the first time. Um, and today we will look at one of these, well, basically very painful aspects of our life, which is how or what can we do to have a more stable, thriving practice, whether it is a one-on-one or teaching or workshops. And I'll be sharing from my experience a little bit throughout the years and um, we'll look at some of the things that I found, both for myself and for many of my clients and students that are affecting our ability to hold the space well for our clients in the sense of they want to be here with us as clients or as students. And when I'm saying it's painful, it's because for many of us, it's quite a challenge. Sometimes a lifelong challenge, sometimes a challenge that is better at some times and gets worse, gets better, gets worse for different reasons. And because it has to do with our ability to earn money or to provide for families or for ourselves, as well as for feeling, that we're good, that we are worthy, that we are seen and respected, all of these nice things we want to feel in our lives. Um, it's an important topic. So where shall we start? Maybe first, like always, with the safety rails. So it's a 1 hour lesson. Um, my basic invitation is please feel comfortable. If you need to do something physically, go out, come back, sit, stand, laugh, cry, shout, be silent, whichever, all good. Whatever your body needs, give it to yourselves. The next level of comfort is to take whatever I say with a pinch of salt. If it resonates with you, how nice, take it in. If it doesn't resonate, that's okay. You can leave it here. If you have questions or want to discuss anything, we won't have time for it in this lesson, probably. Maybe a bit at the end, we'll see. But you're very welcome to email me afterwards with any question you have, and I'll do my best to answer. And the third level of comfort is please do not do anything that you don't want to do. I'll be taking us through some experiential process for you to explore and benefit from. However, you never need to do anything that you don't want to do. If any instructions feels not right, too much, imprecise, etc., you can just skip it or improvise something that feels better for you, and that's perfectly fine. Um, and in general, during the lesson, sometimes some content can be a bit overwhelming for us or triggering for us. That's okay if it happens. Remember, you can regulate yourself. You can place a representation for support for yourself, or use any tool that you already have to support yourself if something more challenging comes up. Specifically, if you feel any kind of shame coming up, and we often feel shame about the places where we feel not good enough or not successful enough. Please know that I have no intention of shaming anyone, and I'm sorry if it feels that way, not intending to, and mostly to say that if shame is coming up, it's a sign of shadow. Shame is strongly associated with the shadow. So when we feel shame, probably there's something to look at rather than just feeling ashamed of ourselves. Yeah, this meeting is recorded. If you want to share anything during, please do it in the chat so your privacy is maintained. If you want to share something up loud, go ahead. Of course, it's allowed, but it will be on the record. You'll be seen. Okay, safety role is done. How about we take a very brief moment to share in the chat in really one sentence what is our challenge around this topic of our container for clients and students? And don't tell your life story, just in one sentence, two maximum. So we'll get a sense of this specific group, which is here today, what are our needs, what is of the essence for us. I will be reading the chat and you can read it too. Yeah, so more clients, more paying clients, and more confidence, sense of worth, receiving and not just giving it all away, to even start offering groups, workshops, not enough feeling, confidence to take clients, keep my own needs and wants inside, struggling to start offering online sessions, but very comfortable not giving in person, reducing self-sabotage. After some clients need 2, 3 days to digest the work. Find clients that resonate with me, attracting more paying clients and sustaining sustainable income, owning it. Thank you. So we see that for some of us, we're really at the beginning, and for some of us, it's more about growth. And for some of us, it's about how to maintain the growth that we have, or to maintain our level of energy and well-being after working with people. Blind spots. And again, this balance of myself and my clients. So we can already see a few patterns emerging just from this short list of what is ailing us on this topic. Well, it was ailing me many years ago. I was a young body mind therapist. I probably had 7 clients at the time, and I thought to myself, I was young, I thought, okay, I can make it. I opened a practice, rented a place, uh, um, did everything I could marketing wise. It was pre-Facebook and social networks. Um, and I didn't take a lot of money for each client because I was still a student or towards the end of my studies. And then came the phone call from the bank saying, hey, you have minus this amount and another amount is coming on your credit card very soon. What are you going to do about it? I was like, I don't know, I'll get back to you. And okay, I need to do something to change the situation. And on a practical level, I took a loan from my parents, and I looked for a proper day job, and that did not depend on me having clients and marketing and everything. I was very lucky in that sense because I had a degree in computer science, and in second one in science teaching, and it basically allowed me to find a job as a software engineer 3 days a week, which was great and paid really well. So I had this really strange dissonance of for 3 days I'm a software engineer, for 2.5 days I'm a therapist. Not so much fun, especially when I get a call from a distressed client while I'm working with the computers and have to balance the states. But hey, it worked for 2 years. However, after a year, I felt like, okay, this is not going to last forever. This is not the dynamic that I want from my life. Let's do something about it, which includes not getting that phone call from the bank again. I started a coaching process with a very good friend. And in one of the sessions, I realized that there is a problem. I noticed already at that young stage as a therapist that my inner state and my inner turmoils affect the stability and the size of my practice. In an extreme case, I had 7 clients. I was working one day a week in the clinic. So 7 clients one day. Okay, nice. Then I had a big test. I had 6 cancellations from one day to the next. This was like a very clear mirror saying, there is a problem here. Now, yes, I was young and single at the time, but I already thought of I want to find a profession that can support my family when I get older. And also, when I was 22, I had cancer. And so I already knew from like a body felt sense experience that shit can happen. And I may be in a position where I will not be in my best. And I thought to myself, so what if something happens which is not good in my life, and then also I won't have enough clients to support myself? This is a very bad combination. If this is the deal, count me out. I'm not going to be a therapist if this is how it's going to work. Right? Not sustainable. And nevertheless, I wanted to be a therapist, so I started to look at it. And what I realized was that there was some connection between my state, of course, and a number of stability of clients. I mentioned it before. And I noticed that when clients are disappearing or skipping a week, it's not because I did something wrong. It's not because I'm not worthy. Um, it's basically because I didn't have enough space for them. I was fully busy with my own stuff or with a super challenging client or that took more of their share of my container, which was rather small at the time. Um, and that it's not a punishment and it's not a sign of not being good enough or not doing enough marketing. It's an actual practical result. If there is less space in my container, well, clients are pushed out. If I lose the will to work with clients for a while, well, they don't feel welcome. And so I could see that there was almost, if you like, a mathematical equation here. And since I had a degree in computer science and mathematics and biology, I was like, okay, mathematics I can work with. Um, so there is a container and there is a number of people. And if the container is too small, then the number of people don't get in. Very simple. And what do I do? What most people do is try to push in more clients into the same container. This is called marketing. And what I did was, of course, continue marketing because practically it's important, but I started to really focus on what makes my container the way it is and how can I build and expand and stabilize my container. And it worked. And then for a couple of years, I gave workshop with this specific content. It was before Shadow, it was before Constellation work. It was still pretty useful. And then came the Shadow, and then came Constellations. And I wasn't interested anymore in teaching people how to do that because I was, well, obsessed with Shadow work and family constellations, and they felt like much more aligned with what I wanted to bring. Um, and then again, it feels like it's something that people are better off knowing rather than it stays with me. So here we are again today. And today we will focus less on the things I used to teach back then, which are great. I'll mention them, but we won't work with them. Today we'll focus on our shadow and how our shadow impacts our container for clients and students. The shadow is a Jungian term for what we deny, repress, and disown. So what I'm not willing to be, what I'm not able or willing to identify in myself, or to see in myself, or to acknowledge, or to own. Yeah. Um, so it can be self-parts, it can be emotions, it can be thoughts or ideologies, it can be abilities, it can be states. Different things can go into the shadow. Um, the shadow has tremendous effect on us as facilitators, therapists, teachers, and this is what I focus on in the Shadow Constellations training. But today we're gonna try to really pinpoint a very specific aspect of how the shadow affects our container. Um, and just to place one basic assumption I have here, I assume we are all good enough in relation to the professional phase that we're in. Okay. If it's like I'm not having enough clients because I'm not good enough, maybe you should do learn more, okay? Or practice more, get supervision. That's okay. But my intention today is to speak from the point of, let's suppose we are at least okay. Maybe we're not the best. We're okay. Yeah. If we're okay, why don't we have an okay practice? And this would be the question in that sense. Whatever is okay for us. One person, seven clients is really amazing. For someone else, it's 20. And someone else will not be happy until they have 25 students every week. So very personal. I'm not going to go into numbers and comparisons. It's not the idea. Um, and also to say that some of the work to better shape our container takes time. Some things can change quickly, some things needs time. So as you listen to the things I'll share, keep that in mind. It's not an invitation to change everything right now. It's an invitation to notice, what aspects are resonating for me as something that I would like to look at, and then find the ways to look at them, either in personal processes, supervision, all kinds of personal development. Um, with the understanding that probably all of us do personal development in one way or another, but it's not necessarily affecting our practice. So we want to look for the kind of personal development that will actually affect our practice in our container. Okay. And remember that whatever affects your practice probably affects the practice of many other people. So it's almost by definition not something that is horribly wrong with you. Okay. It's something to work with, like everything else. So many things can affect our ability to have clients. Let's name a few from our side. Yeah, before the clients, just speaking of ourselves. Um, well, sometimes we are loyal to those in our family who did not succeed. Yeah. So if I'm loyal to someone who did not succeed, it will be difficult for me to succeed. As simple as that. Very often it's the parents or one of the parents, but not always. Sometimes we come from a very successful line, but there is that auntie that was really not successful on many levels and pushed away from the family, excluded, and we find ourselves entangled with her of all people, which leads to, well, success not doesn't seem to come our way because this would be disloyal to her. Yeah. This is one personal systemic reason why we don't get as many clients or students as we would like to. Sometimes it's not that kind of I have to be like them, but it's like it's the sense of in order to belong, I can't be better than them. So if my parents got to a certain place, I can't allow myself to be better than my parents because, well, I won't belong then. If you are lucky to be born in a family where your parents wants you to succeed more than them, that's great. If you're not that lucky, then it's more challenging to be more successful than your parents because unconsciously it will affect the family dynamics and may lead to or feels like it would lead to exclusion. And exclusion is much worse fate than not having success. So unconsciously, we always choose not having success rather than be excluded. Another possible, well, uh, reason that happens a lot is that we have some ideas or conclusions or beliefs about what is the price of success, what comes with success. And so, for example, in the workshop that I gave back then, I would ask people to just imagine the number of clients they would like to have. Let's do that. Take a moment to imagine the number of clients you want to have, whatever it is. I won't ask you to tell me, okay? And notice how you feel in your body when you're thinking about this number. Do you feel expanded, Do you feel um, there is some um, happiness inside of you, or does it feel a bit stretch and a bit challenging, maybe stressful in some way? Is there an expansion or a contraction inside of your body? Huh? Surprisingly, most people feel some sort of contraction. Yeah. When we think about the number we really want. And then ask people let go down from that one by one until you reach a number that feels expansive in your body. And so take a moment to do that. Just go down until it feels like, yeah, that's a number that I feel comfortable with, that I can happily go to work with from my stress level point of view. Notice what is that number? It's probably not the same, right? And when I asked people about what is the reason, then many of the responses I received were something like, if I have this number of clients, I won't have time to be with my kids. I won't have time to take a break. I won't have time for my hobbies. I won't have time to fulfill myself in other ways. I'll be swallowed by my practice, etc., etc., etc. Many different ways to say it's not a good result for me. Okay. Uh, Sometimes it will come together with all kinds of horrible stories. People who have lots of success or lots of clients eventually ended up in jail or died or have everything taken away from them. So we have all kinds of good reasons um, not to go there. In the case that you actually felt that you will be better with a larger number than you thought that you had, that's nice to have. That's a nice thing to have. And the question is, can you support this number of clients right now in your container? Um, Sometimes it's about our fear of having power and authority. It's like, okay, I can handle this position of power and having power over people and authority over people and maybe responsibility for their well-being, sometimes for more than that, for a small number of people. But I need to be much more in touch with my power and my authority if I want to hold it for bigger things. Yeah. Whoever started screen sharing, please stop that. Thank you. Um, and of course, we don't want to abuse our power, right? So often there are power issues. We have issues with our own power that says, well, if I have many clients, this would be too much power. Yeah. So we're also maybe wanting to look at that. Sometimes it's about our self-value and self-confidence to bring this value to the world. So sometimes it's like, am I good enough? Do I have something to bring? Will I be able to help people? Yeah. And it has nothing to do with how much we learned. It has everything to do with how we grew up. Yeah. Um, if our parents instilled in us or childhood experiences instilled in us the sense of you're basically good enough, you're basically valuable, then it's easy. And if they instill in us something else, then this is something to take into your own therapy and work with, as it directly affects how well you can bring value to clients. And the confidence thing comes in the marketing aspect. Yeah. When we market, we need to have confidence or show confidence. If it doesn't feel like we have that confidence, marketing, well, works less well. Um, do we feel safe in being seen? Yeah. If taking lots of space feels unsafe. And again, for many of us, there is that sense because of abusive childhood events. Then again, this is something to work with because the clients needs to be able to see us. So this was all about us. I went over it quite quickly because you probably thought about most of it yourself anyway. I want to move now to the perspective of the clients. Yeah. What are the clients sensitive to? So, in a nutshell, they're sensitive to, do we have enough space, energy, and will for them? That's the basic question. Yeah. So, from a client perspective, they don't care about our self-confidence. They don't care about our childhood. They don't care about our issues about success. This is all between us and ourselves. What matters to our client is will I be held here? Am I wanted here? And will it be safe for me to be here? These are the questions that really interest clients. I mean, of course, there are some other more specific ones, but these ones are like general across all clients. So the metaphor of our container, be it a metaphor or an energetic reality, whatever you like, looking at our container can really help us understand how the clients feel and what they need from us to change. Um, Let us move into a practice experience. So I hope you have a bunch of objects to use as representations. If you didn't prepare any, grab a few small objects you can use. You can either place them on your desk or on the floor if you prefer, and you can tap on them physically. Okay. So I don't know if all of you have done constellation work before. I assume some have not. So I'll just say that representations are just objects that we use to represent or to be placeholders for some essence. The essence can be a person, including ourselves, our parents, our clients, etc. And the essence can be a self part, an emotion, fear, um, our will. It can be, the essence can be something that happened in history, a period in time, a specific event, a relationship, anything that we can envision can be represented. Even if sometimes we will not have a title for whatever it is, we will have a felt sense, a body felt sense of something. So when I will ask you to step on a representation, it means that you are placing your hand on it or placing it between your feet if you are placing it on the floor. And when I ask you to step off, then you either move to a free floor space or take away your hand, check it, and take a breath. Um, And the first time that you will step on a representation, I will give you a slightly long list of things that it's good to pay attention to, so you have an idea of what things to look at. And throughout the different representations we will move through, I will also suggest some things to look at, so you don't have to know how to do anything. And of course, if something doesn't feel right, just ignore it or change it to something that does feel right for you. Okay. We will begin our exploration with three representations. So one object to represent ourselves. The choice is intuitive, just feels right, or our hand just feels drawn to it, or our eyes stare at it. One representation of ourselves, one representation for our container, for our clients and students. I'll just call it the container from now on. And one representation for our clients. And when I say our clients, it can be a mix of our present and possible clients. Yeah. So it's a general representation for how clients look at us. Place these three in your walking space in a way that feels intuitively right. You don't need to understand why or to explain why. Just place them in the space in a way that feels intuitively right. And then step on your representation. So you place your hand on it, or if it's on the floor, you place it between your feet. And as you step on a representation, just take a moment to connect with the energy of this representation in this system. And take some time to notice. You can notice your body, your breathing, your posture, your sense of weight. Does anything feels like it's pushing or pulling us to any direction? How embodied are we right now? Whatever comes up, it's okay. You don't need to change it. Just notice. As your body wants to do something. Do you feel yourself in the right position where you place the representation, or maybe you want to move somewhere else with this representation? Notice your emotions. How emotionally connected are you now? Are there strong emotions? Is there a dominant emotion or a movement of several? Notice your sense of safety. How much space does it feel that you can take or that you take? Notice if you hear anything that draws your attention, whether it is from the outside or from the inside of yourself. Perhaps some memories come up for you or some thoughts, maybe some images or scenes that run in front of your eyes. Notice all of these. Notice how you feel with yourself. How are you towards the representation of your container? Do you like it? Do you have judgments about it? Do you have a sense of it? Does it feel like this container lives inside of you, outside of you? How do you carry it, this container? Turn your attention to your client's representation. How do you feel towards them from your representation? Are you happy that they are here? Are they scary? Is there an expansion or a contraction in their presence? Do you feel needy? You're angry at them? Do you love them? Notice your will. Does it feel like you have a strong will for more clients? Not a need, a will. Huh? How stable is your will? Does it feel like, yeah, it's here, it's consistent, or comes and goes? Again, no judgments, huh? Just noticing. Notice if it feels like you're kind of inviting or pulling the clients towards you or towards the container, or are you more neutral towards them? Or perhaps there's something that is pushing them away from your representation. Notice your presence. How present are you? Is this presence mature, not so mature, too mature? How do you feel your presence? To what degree you feel mature when you look at your clients? And step off. Shake your hand, take a breath, or move to the floor. And step on the representation of your clients. Okay? Current plus potentials. It's a representation that will tell us something more general about our clients and ourselves. Notice how you feel your clients. Maybe you will feel like you need to play several representations for different categories of clients. It's okay if you want to do it. Just be aware that it will take a little bit more time for you to move through several client representations. How does it feel in the representation of your clients? Notice your body, your emotions, your thoughts, your needs. Notice how you feel towards your representation and towards the container representation. Notice if you feel welcome and invited by your representation and by the container. Notice if it feels like it's easy to move closer to get into the container, or does it feel that you will need to expend some energy in getting there? And also notice that once there, does it feel like it would be easy to stay there and comfortable, or is it likely that you will somehow drop out of the container pretty quickly? What do you feel about the container? Is there enough space in it for you? Does it shape, fits you well? Does it feel like it will nurture you? Is there enough place for everyone inside this container? Does it feel like it can grow or adapt itself to fit you better? Or is it the way it is and you have to adapt yourself in order to be there? Again, not right or wrong, we're just noticing. And take a breath, shake your hand, step off. Representation of the client. And step on the representation of the container. Allow yourself to connect with the energy of this representation of your container. And notice how you feel yourself. What's your size? How many clients can you hold inside of you in this size? How flexible are you? Can you change your shape to match different clients easily or with some difficulty or a lot of difficulty? Does it feel like growing a little bit makes sense to you, or this is it? How accessible are you? Like, what's the shape of the entrance to you? Is it open and wide? Is it narrow? Is it convoluted? How much effort do clients need in order to really find a way into you? How is the exit? Is it too easy to exit you, to drop out? Is it possible but not so easy? What else is taking space in your container that is not your clients? Personal issues, friends who are like clients, sick family members that you need to take care of, volunteering work, anything else. Notice if there is some inner separation between personal issues and clients' issues, or does it feel like they're merging into each other, which means the more personal stuff you're dealing with, the less space you have for clients? I'm not talking about a complete separation, but is there some distinction between what's yours and the space for the clients? Notice your boundaries as the container. Does it feel like you have good boundaries? Like the clients can feel safe inside of you? Or does it feel like something is leaking in and or out easily? As the container, notice if it feels like you're being held by yourself, or are you being held by the ground and yourself is just supporting you from the side? It's a very different organization. How nurturing do you feel? Take a breath, shake your hand, step off this representation, and notice if there is any natural movement that wants to happen. Like the object wants to change their position, their distance from each other, the direction. And maybe the object itself wants to change. If so, allow it. And now, please go back to the representation of the client. Take a moment to notice how it feels now, if there is any change in how you feel. From this representation, look now at the container and pay attention to one of the aspects of the container which really affects your ability to move in this container, to become a client, an actual client. It may be one of the things that I already mentioned when I gave you a long list of things to look at. Maybe something else will pop up. It's okay. Maybe you'll have an immediate title. Oh, it's the rigidity. Maybe you'll just have some felt sense of it. It's okay. Step off from the client representation, check your hand, take a breath, and add the representation for this aspect of the container that is really affecting your ability as the client. Step on it. Take a moment to feel it, into it, to tune in. And then ask yourself, what is in your self shadow that makes me the way I am in this representation? So if, for example, my boundaries are very soft and this is the issue, and what is in the shadow of yourself? What are you not in touch with? What do you disown or deny or repress that makes the boundaries too soft? And then step off and place a representation for this essence which is in the shadow. It's okay if you have a name for it, and it's okay if you don't have a name for it. In either case, just place the representation and step on it. Take a moment to get in touch with what is in your shadow that is affecting your container regarding clients. Maybe it's something you hate or despise in other people. Maybe it's something that you actually like, but you never thought you had it in you. Maybe it's something else. Maybe it's an event or an excluded family member that is in the family shadow which pops up, or your relationship with power. Whatever it is, just take a moment to notice the essence that is in your shadow. What is the felt sense of this essence? How does it feel to be this essence which is disowned and denied and repressed in you? And then step off. Shake your hand, take a breath. Add a representation without stepping on it for what caused this essence to go into the shadow in your life or in your family or culture. We could explore it more, but we have some time limitations. So just place it to acknowledge that there is a reason, there is a history. It's not there just because some random thing. And then go back to your own representation, the first one we started with. Take a moment to notice how you feel now in this representation. If things feels like they want to move, you can move them from your representation. And then from your representation, look at the representation of the essence which is in the shadow. Just take a moment to look at it. Kind of open yourself a little bit to it. It's at least one part of what you need to come to terms with for your container to be better for clients. Notice how you feel about it. Maybe think of something positive that can come out of this essence. Maybe it's generally negative, but there's always some gold in the shadow. What could be good about having just a little bit of this essence? Look at it and tell it, call it by name if you can, and tell it, you are also a part of me. You're also a part of me, preferably in your native language. Maybe it feels too much to say. You can say, I can't yet say that you're a part of me. It's also okay. Or I wish I could say that you're also a part of me, or it's challenging for me to say that you're also a part of me. But you are. And you can stay on your representation, but add a representation to support your integration, your connection with this essence, with this shadow aspect. Place it where it feels intuitively right. And then again, from your own representation, look at the shadow essence and tell it, you're also a part of me. Or I can see some value in you. Notice if something wants to move or to change after you've added this support and repeated the sentences. Notice how you feel now about your container. Does it feel like it has changed in some way? And notice how you feel now about your clients. Is there something different about how you relate to them and how you feel in their presence than before? Step off. Shake your hand, take a breath. Step for a moment on the representation of the container. How do you feel now as your container? Has something shifted? Maybe in what we worked on, maybe in something else, maybe both. Maybe not at all, it's okay. We tried. But just notice, how is it now? Then step off. Shake your hand, take a breath, and step on for the last time on the representation of your clients. How is it now? Is there a change in your relationship with the container and with yourselves? If something wants to move or to change, you can allow it. Notice how it feels. And please step off. Shake your hand, take a breath. And finish this exploration. Shake a bit if you like, or stretch, get some water. Well, we're almost out of time, but so if you really need to leave right now, it's okay. If you can stay for a few more minutes, if you can just get just a bit of sharing space, maybe one or two people that would like to share. If you want to write in the chat, I believe everyone would benefit from it. Until you do, I'll just update you on my next events. If you happen to be in India this weekend, I had a 2.5 days workshop about early prenatal constellations, how to walk the very early imprint left before our central nervous system have developed. And in 2.5 weeks, on the 17th, we'll have a training, in-person training in Bali, Indonesia, a 6-day training of Shadow Constellations with Amina here. Say hello, Amina, as the assistant. And then at the end of my training in Vietnam, over 2 weekends in Ho Chi Minh City. And around October, we'll have the next online trainings of Shadow Constellations for facilitator and therapists. So if you're interested, please let me know. And thank you, Ifa, here, which is also one of my longtime assistants who admitted you in so that I will not be busy with that. Thank you. Okay, just a few sharings here. What a difference. The barrier for the clients resolved once I could face the fear within me, which made my container seems inaccessible. Good to hear. That was very powerful. Thank you. And I was also interrupted twice. Will you send a recording? Is it possible to do it again from a recording? Yes, I will send you all a recording within probably 24 hours. And yes, you can do it again with the recording. No problem at all. And the worry in was missing for my clients, and the completion, everything felt more balanced. The clients wanted to bring more referrals. That's nice. My shadow self did not want to be seen, relates to ancestors who were worried about neighbors betraying to communist goal that it kept us safe until now. Yeah, something worth working with. Past history of danger. Client, container, and myself are not separate, they are connected. I will be less complacent and more creative, nurturing. Do you sound like as a possible client? I would like that. Thank you. You changes on how I perceive my container. Thank you. I sensed out in my shadow, lots of movement. I sent judgment clients a lot. I judge clients a lot, and now I just feel love for them. Remember that judgment is a sign, is the hallmark of the shadow. If you're judging clients a lot, it's probably because they're showing us something from the shadow. When is the prenatal constellation program in India? 4th to 6th of April, this next weekend. And email me. I'll send my email for anyone who interested in details about that or about it. Bali or Vietnam trainings. And if you want, what's this? Hmm. Sorry, the chat was on the wrong place. Okay, and this is my website in case you're interested in joining my mailing list and getting some things like that once in a while. There you are. Let's go back to the chat. I noticed a lot of clients seem to have a lot of similar issues. It was difficult to face a bit. That's often the case that the clients who match us are also matching our issues. And when we work with our issues, the clients start to diversify. That's my experience. And it was really good. I made myself so much bigger than my container and clients. As the container, I felt I had huge capacity and nothing but love, but I wasn't focused on the clients. That's a problem for the clients. My shadowy issue was next to my clients, my little girl who didn't feel good enough. A common one, yeah, for many of us. Okay, stop reading and because we are 5 minutes after time. So thank you so much. If you have any questions or things that you would like to share, please feel free to contact me. If something came up and you feel unsettled, please contact me. I'll give you a few tips how to get it settled back. I hope to see you in one form or another. Thank you very much. A beautiful week. Many paying, happy clients and students for all of us. Thank you.